This
How do you fight it?
This
I
notion
think
of
I could kick most of their ass. I do think that if they wanted to. I know I can outrun them, but I don't know if we're going to fall into that place where we want to. Okay, we challenge you to a WWE fight here type of thing.
No, but it's a natural reaction. I think it's one of the reasons we're losing so many men. And again, it's multi-ethnic. It's not just white men. We're losing them. We're losing them to these guys online. We're losing them people that I'm bringing on this podcast as well. That's why I brought.
These are bad guys, though. These are bad guys.
But they exist, and we could deny they exist. They exist. Not only they exist, they persist, and they're actually influencing young kids every single day.
How do we push some of those guys back under a rock?
I think we have to first understand what their motivations are. I think we have to understand what they're actually doing. And
you don't
think
think
that's
it's racism and misogyny?
I think there's a lot of that, but I don't think it's exclusively that. When you talk to a guy like Steve Bannon, he talks about working folks, and he talks about how we hollowed out the industrial core of this country. I understand that. But we can dismiss the notion of election denialism. We could completely dismiss what he did on January 6th, but I don't think you can dismiss what he's saying. Reminds me a lot of what Bernie Sanders was saying. Reminds me a lot of what Democrats said 20, 30 years ago.
So what was I going to say? We've been having, obviously, a conversation about Gavin Newsom, on and on. I know. I know. Well, I mean, my beef is, as I was saying, why is he platforming these right-wing liars that have like huge platforms to platform their own lies,
Yeah, all three of them. I'm like, what are you doing? Your first three guests are white supremacists? What are you doing?
Right.
I have the same issue as you.
Yeah. Well,
in this case.
And by the way, we talked about the ruling on trans military members this week, and I don't know if it was the judge or not, Dana, but made a great point about part of what the government's trying to argue is, they have suicidal ideation at a higher rate. It's like, I see. So more discrimination would be the remedy for that. I mean, it's because they get marginalized and demonized and whatever. I mean,
her ruling was actually really amazing when you read it, and she held him to the fire. She said, "You brought in more evidence. You brought in more evidence in the executive order to ban paper straws than you did to ban trans people from this military. This is all." Animus and no evidence.
Right.
I mean, the ruling was beautiful.
Right.
Thank God it was that judge that got it.
I understand that the trans people in sports issue is different for some people. I understand the arguments, but Dana, my whole point is we sparked Gavin Newsom when he was an unapologetic warrior for gay people out here in California. When he goes on Fox News and kicks ass, that's what we want. We don't want you to platform and buddy and both sides do it and there's good faith on both sides podcast. Right?
No, honestly, it feels like he's walking in Kimberly Guilfoyle's footsteps. He's just 4 years too late. Like, that's what it feels like. He's starting to go over to the right. It's gross.
Yeah.
I will say this. I'll say it on the radio. I don't want him to be the candidate in the next presidential election. We'll have our ass handed to us.
Right.
I absolutely would not support Gavin as the front runner for the presidential candidate. I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want some white guy from one of the coastal cities. Or states. I'm sorry. I don't.
Yeah. So let me bring into this conversation we had with, I can't remember the guest's name now, but it was Joe. He was arguing.
Yeah.
I just disagreed with him. He was arguing that Democrats aren't funny. Or, something. That's why.
In
their messaging.
I know.
There are funny Democrats.
Exhibit 1, Dan Goldberg.
There are funny Democrats,
he
said, but the messaging from the Democrats isn't necessarily.
Democrats in power. Democrats that the majority of the population is looking to.
Well, that's what our point is about Chuck Schumer. He's not the best at messaging, but my point to him was Kamala Harris is every bit as funny and charismatic as Barack Obama was, who he cited. Let's not discount racism, misogyny, on and on.
Thank you. Of course, because if she's funny and she's being jocular out on the, in front of the camera, she's not taking this seriously. We shouldn't take her seriously.
Yeah.
But if a guy makes the same joke, it's very different. The misogyny is
right. It's more the misogyny than the But I mean, obviously she experienced anyway. But so Aaron, amazing interview, Mama. Spoiler alert: Chris is wrong. Well, you know what? You don't even need to say that anymore. It's
just
Mama.
a given.
Mama, I'm so proud of you. I'm not saying that just to get read on the show, but it helps, Aaron. Let's be honest. I'm glad that interview didn't get canceled. Again, Chris Lavoie's only point is to make good radio. As annoying as he can be.
I mean, look how long after the interview, we're still talking about this issue.
Yeah. And also, it's important to have conversations like that.
Right,
if we disagree with each other all the time, we're never going to make any good points. We need a little bit of pushback. Yeah,
Bella, I don't agree with that at all. I think that.
See what you did there.
You did there. You see what the master's teaching the baby. Okay. He says, otherwise we would have missed an important lesson on how to push back against this circular firing squad that Democrats get baited into every time. To your point, Dana, the election doesn't go our way. Blaming Democratic loss on not being funny and relatable enough, you were having none of that. While I appreciate the benefits of doing a postmortem, especially after such a stunning upset, making adjustments to stave off future election losses, what I don't appreciate is the reflective tendency to put the grave mistakes of Republicans and so-called independents back on us. Democrats need to speak to the working class. Democrats need to stop playing identity politics. Democrats need to do a better job of messaging. Democrats didn't do this and Democrats didn't do that. And that's why people voted for Trump. But we're not running Bernie Sanders, Bill Maher, Joe Scarborough, to a lesser degree, Jon Stewart scam, blaming the wife for the husband cheating. What about Republicans? Are we the only grown-ups in the room? And if we are, then why is that on us? My takeaway from the interview is lowering ourselves to appease the least common denominator is not an option and not a substitute for holding Republicans accountable. I'm so happy you and Jasmine Crockett didn't get that pandering memo. They tried this crap on her, and like you, she too is having none of it. Jasmine Crockett, who doesn't call Republicans friends and colleagues, and told them to their faces, the voters who sent you here obviously don't care about facts. That's
the name that comes up every time for me is Jasmine Crockett.
Yes.
We need Jasmine Crockett energy in everything.
Yeah. Just finishing, a host on The View tried to use Trump's relatively high approval rating. It's not high, first of all. It's historically low. He's underwater. And has been
it's high if you look at the entirety of his approval ratings. Yeah. Yes, it's kind of high right now, but it's still at 45%, which is really low.
50-something disapproval.
Right.
Okay. According to some BS poll to get Crockett to concede the Democrats need to work on their messaging and be more moderate, she responded that while Democrats can improve on getting out their message to educate voters, they will get the message loud and clear when these rural hospitals start closing and they start losing their Medicaid and Social Security benefits and when planes start falling out of the sky. That's already happening at these town halls, right? That's exactly what you were saying to your guests, that no amount of finessing and wordsmithing from the left is going to get through to Trump supporters, only their votes backfiring and blowing up in their apathetic faces, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I get why Chris thinks that being contemptuous when addressing Trump supporters will get us no new converts, but that's because we on the left collectively have battered wife syndrome. If we make them mad, if we frustrate them after they had a long day, if we take that tone with them in public when they were going to lose it and abuse us and with their votes again, that's why I say respectfully, Chris is wrong. But she said it respectfully, that you're an ass bite.
She said it like this, not like that.
And I think there is something to be said that all of these Trump voters are like, why'd you vote for him? And they're still like, because he says what he thinks. And if Democrats do that, it's different. So it's not that they love him because he says what he thinks. They love him because he says what they think. And there's a difference. That's the difference. Yeah. When Democrats say what they think, they're still not saying the bigoted, homophobic, transphobic ideas that a lot of the right has. And it's not all of the right. It is still the minority of the conservative class on that side. But they are so loud. And so I don't know if the messaging for Democrats, if they follow Republicans, is going to work because it doesn't resonate with that base. It does resonate with a hateful base of you saying all these horrible things out loud. That's why I really question. I don't think we should use their playbook. We need to make our own playbook and figure out something that works because what we're doing now definitely isn't. But I'm not going to turn into some hateful bigot just so I can reach, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I can reach the right somehow. I'm just not.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this one other, just follow up. Bill says, I have an observation for you about making fun of incels. Your show makes fun of this small but growing subset of boys, males under the age of 25. Not only is making them the butt of that joke not helping your and my cause, it's actually hurting it. I would hope you'd reconsider that line of comedy as particularly hurtful.
Oh my God.
No, still making fun of incels.
Oh my God.
I did simply ask why they are taking romantic advice from guys that are admitting they can't get laid and live in their mom's basement. I'm just asking a question.
Do you all know what incel is the abbreviation for? It's involuntary celibacy.
Yeah.
If
and
that
I
doesn't,
don't think it's involuntary. Sorry, Bella.
No, I was just saying,
you can't get laid.
Yes, if that doesn't tell you anything that you need to know, then there's a reason. There's a reason they're not getting laid. Yeah. Sorry.
Bella has her finger on the pulse of the young.
Unfortunately.
Yes, and in some cases, literally, her boyfriend Jack literally has her finger on the pulse.
I guess they're vol cells. We need to start calling them vol cells.
Vol cells.
Voluntarily celibate.
Like, I grew up playing video games online. That's a very common thing that a lot of people my age did.
Right. Well, you're obviously going to be a mass shooter soon.
I saw their rise. Like, I saw how they grew up and what the shit they would say.
You got to dump yourself.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I got so angry. The crud, they say online and in
love
chat.
that she thought it doesn't count if she says it.
Well, no.
How happy they just made me. I've been doing this show for I don't know how long. I've never heard the person who does the dumping have to dump themselves.
Why are you dumping yourself? Why are you dumping yourself? Well, most people know that staying hydrated is essential to nearly every bodily function, right? But 75% of Americans do not consume enough fluid daily. As we age, naturally bodily changes make staying hydrated even harder, especially without artificial additives or excess sugars. That's where Native Path comes in with extra help. Native Path's Hydrate is not just another drink mix. It is a thoughtfully designed formula packed with BCAAs and all 9 essential amino acids to help with muscle recovery and overall vitality. Plus, it's completely sugar-free and 100% natural. It goes in my bike bottle every single Saturday. With their Native Path Hydrate product, you can fuel your body with essential electrolytes at the cellular level for overall vitality. Unlike other hydration drink mixes that are designed for marathon runners and contain upwards of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, Native Hydrate contains just 230 milligrams of sodium. That's optimal for daily hydration, free of artificial flavors, sugars, and dyes. It is only 5 calories per serving, and every order comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it risk-free. Visit nativehydrate.com/Stephanie to see what Native Hydrate could do for your health. I love it. Drink up. That's nativehydrate.com/Stephanie.